hope in the scope of work, I did read it, I hope it expanded where you're going to go into the actual departments, look at the departments themselves, the police, fire, street, and staff of the borough building, and hopefully come back with suggestions. I believe that's your scope of work, is it?
That's correct.
To come back with suggestions on what we can do. We have a serious, I feel we have a serious financing problem within the borough. And it started in 2009. I've been going through the budgets. I put it on my computer and broke it down. The audits don't show that. The audits show that we're in good shape. I don't know how that happens, but the finances are not in good shape. We're carrying a hefty balance. Mr. Esposito estimated somewhere around where, Joe?
360.
Somewhere. And I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but you'll find that out, hopefully, and go from there. The Finance Committee, this is something I inherited by running for council and got here, and some other people up here too weren't responsible. But it should have been acted on sooner, in my opinion. The Finance Committee met 4 times earlier in the year and suggested that a budget meeting be held, a budget personnel meeting be held. Talking to this department heads, I had the opportunity 2 weeks ago to meet Mr. McNeil downstairs and get a little more insight on the police. I'm on a learning curve here, my first year. I had a chance to talk to TJ about the fire department and Mr. McNeil over here. So basically, some of the information he gave me, not detail at that point. And I've always talked to Vince and through John Morgan, giving me the street information, trying to learn what goes on in the borough. But I think that the recommendation of the Finance Committee a long time ago, earlier in the year, was to do something, and nothing was done. And I finally got a little disgusted with it and wrote a letter, an email on May 6th in response to an email I received from Joe Boyle over setting up a finance, a whole council should decide what to do, and I agreed with that. And I then emailed to all the council people to set up a plan of an action back in May. I asked the chair to call for a budget meeting. That was not done. I asked council to hold a personnel meeting in regards to the budget. That was not done. And also to form a task force work on 2013 budget. That has not been done yet, but apparently bringing Mr. Boyle will help with that. And I think that's part of your scope of work. So, my question to you is that, do you plan to go into the departments itself and look at the personnel we have in each department, and is that within your scope?
That's within the scope of the social services that will provide under the grant. This is under the early intervention grant.
Yes.
And the grant requires us, as part of the scope of services, to not only take a look at the overall financial picture of the borough, but also at the various elements of our operations. So we'll be doing that as well.
I know you helped an adjoining borough out with their problems. It was West Wyoming. I was talking to the chairwoman over there, Eileen Cipriani. She had high praise for you. But I just hope that scope of work gets in detail. You have an estimate of how long that would take?
I think we estimated in the scope of work that we'll be concentrating initially on the borough's financial position and condition, as we'll get into the management out of the operations probably later, perhaps at the end of the year, after the first of the year. I believe we're scheduled to be all done by March of 2013. So we'll approximately 6 months for the whole study. I can't give you a time specifically.
Right. Because you don't know what you're going to find yet.
Pardon me? You
don't know exactly what you're going to find.
I'm sure I'll find hard-working people, and then we'll go from there.
There's no question about that, but I'm looking for answers other than just plain raising taxes. I hope you have other systems in order to straighten it out other than raising. I know that you either got to raise revenue or reduce expenses, and when you start cutting services, it affects people what they're used to, and that starts to hurt too. But something has to give other than just taking the taxpayers and raising. Because if it's truly out by $360,000, we're looking at $1.5 million increase, which means you're looking at 150% increase in the borough's tax, not your total tax, but the borough tax. That's a hefty amount to pay it back in 1 year. you're looking at 50% each year for 3 years to pay it back, so. Yeah. All right, I'm okay. Next. Any questions for me, for the audience?